I'm John Batchelor. This is the John Batchelor Show. Get out your Rudyard Kipling, because we're going to India to a story that even Kipling didn't write. Gordon Chang of Forbes.com is here with me, and we're joined by Vikas Bajaj, reporting for the New York Times of the discovery of something that's always been there, a temple that perhaps is more than 1,000 years old. It is in a very prosperous state in India, but within these last days, the revelation is that within this temple, and it's a temple to the god Padmanabha, and the temple is called Padmanabha Swami. It's an aspect of the god Vishnu. Within this temple is billions and billions and billions of dollars of precious stones and jewels and coins and gold, perhaps 500 years worth or more, all in vaults unguarded until these last days. Vikas, a very good morning to you in India. Where is this temple? And where has this temple been all these years of reading Rudyard Kipling? Good morning to you.
Good morning. The temple has been right where it's always been. It's been in the heart of Trivandrum city, which is the capital of Kerala state, almost at the very tip of South India. And, the treasure was essentially in the vaults there for hundreds of years. Some of the vaults may not have been open for 150 years.
So, Vikash, how do I find a temple like this of my own, you know? I mean, is this going to trigger sort of like a rush to look at Indian temples where people from India are just going to swarm all over these places, digging around the graveyards and things, looking for baubles?
Well, one of the things that seems to have come to light is that this is one of the few temples where there hasn't been extensive discovery already. There are other temples which have treasures of their own, though not to this extent, but they've been discovered over the years, and they've been sort of put to use, or some of the gold has been deposited in banks and so forth. There was some rumor the other day floating around on Twitter that maybe there's a big treasure underneath the Taj Mahal, but so there's always going to be somebody or the other sort of speculating about where the treasure is. I don't think it's probably a good idea to go exploring underneath every temple. India has a lot of temples, so you could be digging a lot and not getting very much. I
understand, but there must be huge demand on iTunes in India for Indiana Jones movies right now. I mean, it's just too fabulous. Yes. Now, this temple is under the administration of the royal. It gets better. It's really Kipling. Get out of the room. This is better than you imagine. The royal family of Travancore, that is headed by a Maharaja, and that family administers the temple for the god. Do I read this correctly? They don't own the temple. The god is in possession of the temple, and they're the god's servants. Is that correct, Vikas?
Essentially, I mean, that not only does the god own the temple, in their back when they actually did rule Travancore, they claimed that the god owned the kingdom and that they were only ruling over the kingdom as his servant, or in some other translations, it could be the word they use could also be translated as the god's slave. So they really see themselves as regents for the god, and so yeah, I mean, their devotion is quite stunning, and people say very genuine. People I've spoken to in Kerala believe this is not just an act. This is not just sort of a pretense. These people really believe that's what they're doing.
I think $22 billion of gems is a lot of bona fides for believing. I do, because this temple, and by the way, $22 billion is an estimate. Is that right, Vikas? We don't know how much is in there.
We don't know how much is in there. I mean, some people have sort of tried to come out and sort of tamp down the number and say, this is just kind of a preliminary eyeballing of what was in there by people who are not, trained at valuations. So all of this stuff is going to eventually get properly valued by experts. But, this is what the early estimate that some of the people who opened the vaults sort of let out. It may be more, it may be less, but, it will be significant, I think.
Vikash, because all this loot belongs to Vishnu, what is a court doing in getting involved in all of this?
Well, there was a lawyer here in Kerala who petitioned the court saying that the royal family had not properly taken care of the treasure, and that the royal family had either misappropriated or left unprotected some of the gold and jewels and so forth. And that's why the court ordered a auditing of what's actually in the temple. That's what's led to this particular course of events. And the court, is it's unclear what the court will decide. Obviously, it's it's still something that's ongoing. But I presume they're not going to change things dramatically. But they could. You never know.
What does the temple look like? Have you been able to go inside? I mean, is it run down? Is it tattered? Do they have graffiti on the wall?
No. It's very well controlled. Access to the temple is controlled. You can only go in if you're a Hindu. Mm-hmm. If you're a man, you have to wear what's called a dhoti. It's sort of like Americans would know of it as a sarong, although it's not a sarong. And a shawl essentially on the top part of your body. Women have to wear saris, and so it's very well maintained. Inside, are beautiful statues, wood carvings of various figures, deities as well as apsaras and so forth. There's a big courtyard with 365 pillars. Representing each day of the year, and the inner sanctuary is reached through a narrow passageway, and it's very dimly lit. It's only lit by diyas, butter lamps, and it's kind of hard to see the Padmaswamy, but he's there. He's very big. And quite resplendent. But you have to sort of squint to be able to catch a glimpse of him.
Is he bejeweled, like the Gunga Din sort of story?
Yes, there's some jewels. The pictures that I've seen show jewels. When I was there, it was a little bit hard to see exactly, what decorations or jewels may be on the idol, but yeah, it's and there's a decent crowd. It's not one of the most visited temples in India.
Right.
Maybe that'll change. But
yeah, that'll change. Now they're opening a room on Friday. We're told Friday your time. Vault B. Where are the vaults where is this Vault B? Underneath you when you're in the temple?
It's unclear. I mean, they're not saying exactly where they are. When we walked through it, there were some vaults off to the sides, or what appeared to be vaults. There were air doors that were padlocked and had dates on them. So it might be one of those doors. From what I understand, the room that they're going to try and enter on Friday is been very inaccessible. There's a heavy steel door that's been hard to get through, and they haven't really yet figured out exactly how they're going to try. If it doesn't yield, then they'll have to come back and try again later.